When I see it, far too often people wake up every day like it's an accident. And their finances show that exact situation. And for me, why you need to do it is that if you don't look after your finances now and spend that intentionally, then later in life, you're just kicking the can down the road.
Yep.
Realistically, anybody who's listening to this, you or I, every day that we get older, we're going to earn less cash, and our requirements for income or for cash is going to increase. We're going to need more care, we want to travel more, retirement, all of that sort of stuff. And the money that gets spent now is money that we won't have for later. And for me, it's really, I won't say depressing, but it's really upsetting to see people who are in their 60s, 70s, still having to work at least part-time, not because they want to, but because they can't stop working. And then I wonder about speaking to those people and saying to them, if you could go back 20, 30 years, what would you do differently? And I reckon they'd have a few things to tell us. And that's why, you know, it's really important to be intentional with that.
Yeah, I mean, about that, just like you hear a famous saying going like, you live your life to the fullest, live your life as if it's the last day that you have to live.
Yeah.
Which is great and all, but financially it's not how that you should be living.
Yeah.
Sure, you should live your life everyday fun, but in a finance sense, it shouldn't be that way. No.
And I think you can, I think you can balance it.
For sure.
And you need to balance. And we're examples of that, where I don't feel like I'm not living my life to its fullest, but I also make sure that I'm still putting money away for tomorrow and for the future. I don't have any worries about that. So there's a couple of stories that sort of come to mind with this in being intentional about money. But before I get into that, I think the key point is that when you're looking at your finances into the future, everyone talks about setting financial goals and all of that rubbish. And I think that's okay to a degree. But really what I prefer to do is talk about priorities. If you've got money coming in and you want to spend it on something, what are those priorities when it comes to people and their finances? So let me ask you, so what are your priorities? What are the things that you enjoy and value more over everything else?
Yeah, in terms of just everyday life, you know, I love to spend my money on golf, for example.
Yeah.
I love to go out to play golf. I love to travel, so I try to travel at least once or twice every year. So those are my main priorities in terms of how I like to live my life around. And then, you know, aside from the bigger goals where there's mortgages and there's other house and assets that I want to build, the fun things in life, that's what I want to spend my money on.
Yeah, perfect. So when you think about golf, golf's expensive.
It is.
For me, it's really expensive because I'm not very good at it and the balls are expensive.
Yeah.
I played recently when I was away with family, and I bought 10 balls and we were only playing 9 holes, and everyone was putting so much crap on me because they were like, oh, gee, you know, money bags over here. I'm like, no, I'm just really bad at golf. Luckily, I actually only lost 3 balls.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's pretty good for me. One time I lost 7 balls on 1 hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, golf and I don't really mix on that perspective. But I think anyone who's listening to this, setting those priorities means that it makes it easier for you to be intentional with your money. And so if we put it in this perspective, a lot of people ask me all the time, like all my friends, family, people that I work with, they're always commenting about how I'm always on holidays all the time. That's because for me, that is the key number one priority is travel. And so when I'm spending money on anything else, I'm literally looking at it to say, is this worthwhile? And how does this help get me to go on more holidays? I've got a function coming up next Friday, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, are you going to drink and get an Uber? And I said, no, I'm going to drive. And they're like, why? And I said, because the $150 that I'd spend on an Uber, I'd rather put that towards my holiday account and go and travel on that.
Sure.
I'm not going to waste the money on that.
Sure.
And that's the reframing I think that people need to do, is that what is the 1, 2, or 3 things that they prioritize? And everybody's different. I've got a mate who has a boat, and I've spoken about him on the show before, and I will continue to speak about him because impressing him is easy. He makes sure that he's got enough diesel for his boat to go out fishing, enough money for bait, and enough money for beers. Those are the 3 priorities to him. Mm-hmm. He looks at me traveling and goes, what a waste of money. Do you know how many days I could go out on the boat for that? That's the intentionality part that we're trying to get through to people.
Definitely.